Hey folks, so this week I had more than 22 interviews. Some of them are consulting sessions. Some of them was this standard job search first interview and all of things. And some of them was the cool stuff and people came to me with the ideas of their products. They was on the early stage and usually they was interested in an ontological course or the artificial intelligence agents. And I decided to summarize some things and share it with you because I share it with people also. I do consulting, but I do these videos for free. So, the artificial intelligence agents, the AI agents, it's like the teenage sex. So everybody pretends that they do it, nobody have idea how to do it properly, and if it really exists. And we have the same situation as we had with the big data at the beginning of the big data hype, that everybody wants to do the agents, but they don't understand what agency mean and how they should structure the agents. And when I see some proposals of the people architecture, I just see good old microservices help, but right now we call this microservices agents. And it's what I expect from it, So if you could summarize how the future of the agentic system could look like, we will get back to the good old architectural foundations that I try to push to the community for more than 7 years. So first of all, we need the sovereignty. The sovereignty that we give the user and the agent, the ownership and possibility to operate on their own. So they should be autonomous and have the power and right to do this stuff. And what's more important for agents, and I discovered it yesterday on my last talk with one of the brightest minds actually in artificial space, that you should give the agent the identity. And identity means not the cryptographic identifier or permissions and all the things. We need this also, but you need to give the agent the identity that the human or other agents could correlate. Who he is, what he could do, what his speciality, and it's really crucial, and it could make the LLM and agents work more effectively and interact with the humans when we talk with not some abstract mechanical thing, but more like humanhood, right? So the identity of the agents really matter. The character, the behavior, the communication style, the set of skills, the set of trade-offs, the trust between the human and agents and all other things. So identity matters. And also the data matters. So yeah, for sure, we could work with unstructured data, and our charts are unstructured, but we could excel where we have the ontological core, understanding of the data, deep ontology, and the structure in the data, because it's fit to the context not only of the agents, but also fit to the context of the humans. And then we came to my favorite topic, the data, and the data manifest, that we need to decouple the data from the application, we need to decouple the data from the agent, make the data reusable, make the data interoperable. And to make the data interoperable, we could use ontologies, if you're talking about the graphs. So I really see that the ontological core, data products, and personal graphs, it's the most valuable assets for the users and the agents nowadays. So it's really the future. And the next big future, it's yet another big idea that the data, it's not enough. To own the data is not enough, because if you have the data but you don't have the tools that give you the meaning and the value from this data, you have nothing. That's why the local fast applications, the applications that allows you to interact and get the value from this data is really matter. And we could achieve this in two ways. First of all, it's a local fast applications that I already mentioned. And another one is the protocols. And protocols, a lot of people think that the protocol it's about the data schema. But for me, the protocol is the stacks of the protocols. Like Definity network, for example, how they have the data shapes, they have the interaction between the data, the permission layer, the access layer, then they have the execution layer and how we could run the programs, right? And the most important, they have data economy and behavioral part, how to govern the network, how to make sure that players play the fair game, how to punish the bad players, and how to create the data economy and incentives for other people to interact with each other. So, and it's a huge work. We really need to make the protocols that are domain specific. We really need the protocols that allow us to discover the agents, their capabilities, how to pay to them, and how to make sure that they made what we want and they in a way that we really expect them to do it. And it's a huge domain, but I really believe that, you know, the data as a product, the ontological cores, the protocols and all other things, they all contribute to the future of the better and more fair agentic world. So if you want to hear more about it, you could let me know and we could book the session and talk about it. If you want to have somebody in a team that understand how this future could look like and you want to build this future together with me, also let me know. I will be happy to have a chat with you. So see you next time. Cheers.